dear viewers, sisters and brothers. Welcome back to the art of recitation of the Holy Quran from Safir TV. As every Wednesday we are live from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We are in the second part of our program. The first part of our program was the recitation of some verses of the Holy Quran from Surah Furqan. I recited from ayah number 61 of this surah till the end of this surah, and then I came back reciting again ayah number 61 till ayah number 68. So with different melodies, inshallah, when we finish the lesson of tajweed, the rules of the recitation of the Holy Quran, and after that, inshallah, we will focus on voice and tune, and especially on different melodies we are using for the recitation of the Holy Quran. At this stage, we are right now in the lesson of the point of articulation of letters, and tonight, inshallah, we'll cover this lesson. And I highly recommend this lesson because this is very important, especially for the point of articulation of letters. And at the third part of our program, we have a very young reciter, brother Sayyid Muhammad Abbas Hashimi. He has 5 years old, and inshallah, you will see him in the third part of our program, around 8 o'clock, inshallah. So, and of course, in this part and in this third part, so part number 2 and part number 3, you can call in if you have any question, or if you want to check your recitation, or if you have any question about the lesson of tonight, or if you have any question in tajweed, your calls are welcome, and you have the telephone number. Inshallah, will be at your service. We go to the first slide of tonight, which is about the point of articulation of letters or articulation areas. You will see in the first slide the 5 important sections we have in our speech system. I want our colleague to show you the first slide, which is about the articulation areas. You will see we have 5 sections, which are starting, for example, if we start from the lower part, would be the throat, and after that we have the empty part of mouth and throat space, and also we have the tongue and the lips and the nose. 5 sections, and you see in each section how many articulation points we have. For example, in throat we have 3 articulation points. In jawf, we call it jawf, or the empty mouth or the throat space, we have 1 articulation point. And in the tongue part we have 10 articulation points, and in the lips we have 2 articulation points, and in the nose we have 1 articulation point. So you have to consider that altogether we have 5 main sections in our speech system, which produce in these 5 main sections the letters. We go to the next slide, and you will see in the next slide the empty area, which is our jawf. We call it the empty space in the mouth and throat. It's like if you consider your room or your house, the empty space is like our jawf, and in our speech system the empty area could be in our mouth, or could be in our throat, in the voice tube, everywhere we have in the name of jawf. So that is we use for long vowel and short vowels. So that's green color is specifically we use for our vowels, could be long or could be short vowels. So that is the empty space in the mouth and throat. And then we go to the next slide. In next slide you will find, especially we start from throat. In throat we have 3 points of articulation, and in each point of articulation we have 2 letters. We're starting from deepest part. In deepest part we have 2 letters. We have letter Hamza and Ha in this part, and then we have middle part of our throat, we have Ain and Ha, and then in the closest part of our throat we have letter Ghain and Kha. This considering of closeness or deepness or a middle part of our throat is related to our tongue, because the center is tongue. So the close or the middle or deep part is considered with our tongue. So we have 3 parts, 3 points of articulation in throat, and in each part we have 2 letters. In next slide you will see the letters. I want our colleague to show you the next slide so you can see the letters. So we have Hamza and Ha, and then in the deepest part, and then in the middle part we have Ain and Ha, and in the closest part we have Ghain and Kha. How to find the point of articulation of these letters, and especially the pronunciation of these letters? Always you use Hamza maftuh, Hamza with fatha, and the letter you want to know the point of articulation with sukun. For example, for Hamza I say a, for Ha we say ah, for Ain we say a, for Ha we say ah. We find the point of articulation. Or for Ghain we say agh, for Kha we say agh. These are the letters, 6 letters in 3 points of articulation in one section. The section is throat, and in throat we have 3 points of articulation, and in each point of articulation we have 2 letters. Altogether in throat we have 6 letters. Then we go to the next slide, which is about our tongue. So you see the tongue, of course, we have 10 different articulation points, and in the 10 different points of articulation we have 18 letters. So the largest, the widest point of articulation in our speech system is the tongue, and in tongue we have 10 point of articulation and 18 letters. Inshallah we will focus and we will find these letters. We will explain inshallah. We go to the articulation point of tongue, and starting, as you see inshallah in the next slide, you will see tongue is divided into 5 different areas. So the areas you will see in different colors. In blue color, that is the deepest part. In red color you see the middle part, and in of course we could say light blue, which is the head of our tongue, and in green we can have the tip of our tongue, and with the black color we have sides of our tongue. So we have 5 sections, 5 areas in our tongue. So we produce the 18 letters, or better say the 10 points of articulation is in these 5 areas. Could be in deepest part of our tongue, or could be middle part of our tongue, or could be the head of our tongue, or could be the tip of our tongue, or could be the sides of our tongue. We go to the next slide, and in the next slide you see the roof of our mouth is divided into 2 parts. That's very important to know. The roof of our mouth is divided into 2 parts. The hard palate, which is the top roof area near the teeth, which is the hard palate, and then the soft palate, the deepest part of the roof near to the throat. So where the palate is soft and where the palate is hard. So we have 2 parts in the roof of our mouth. So the roof of our mouth is divided into 2 parts, a hard palate and soft palate. Then we go to the deepest part of our tongue and the soft palate. Next slide, you see here letter Qaf. So letter Qaf, deepest part of our tongue, touches the soft palate. So here is the letter Qaf. So the point of articulation of letter Qaf is from our deepest part of tongue which touches the soft palate. When deepest part of tongue touches soft palate, then we have letter qaf, especially for our brothers or sisters, reciters from Pakistan, India, especially Iran, and some parts of Afghanistan, and also Western countries. They have problem in this letter. For example, in Pakistan and India, instead of saying aq, they say ak. They pronounce as letter kaf. And instead of saying qutila, they will say kutila. So that is the common mistakes we can find for this letter, in specifically in some parts of these countries I mentioned. For example, Pakistan, India, and Iran especially, because in Iran they pronounce qaf as a ghain. So instead of saying qutila, they say ghutila, ghutila, like this. So that's the common mistakes, and I highly recommend our dear viewers, and especially dear reciters, to focus on this point, which is the deepest part of the tongue should touch the soft palate. So when we say aq, 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 and specifically in this letter qaf, we use the uvula. Where is uvula? Uvula is the soft thing which is hanged in the roof of our mouth. So that is uvula. So letter qaf is really important. And then we go for the letter kaf. So we have qaf and kaf. Both of them, they are lahawi letters. They are velar letters because we use the uvula, so we call them velar. Deepest part of the tongue and the soft palate, so we have letter kaf. Deepest part of the tongue, further from the throat. So it's toward our lips, touches the soft palate. And of course, here we use too much hard palate in letter kaf. So we say ak, 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 ak. So it's further towards our lips. And in this letter, usually we touch too much in the hard palate. So saying ak for qaf and ak further. And of course, they have different qualities. That's the reason their pronunciation are really different. Then, so you have to know that the deepest part of the tongue, closer to mouth, touches the soft palate. But this soft palate is not exactly the soft palate we used for the letter qaf. It's totally different. It's a little bit further towards our mouth, or better say lips. Then we go to the next slide. So you will see in the next slide two colors. Letter qaf with the blue color further towards our throat, and letter kaf with the black color towards our lips. So it's further towards our lips. But usually for the letter kaf, we use some part of the hard palate. So that soft palate is not the same as the soft palate we use for the letter qaf. So the best way to understand the point of articulation of letter qaf is like this, to saying aq, aq, and then for the letter kaf further, you say ak, ak, ak. One of the important qualities which have these two letters is the quality of isti'la and istifal. Inshallah, later on we will discuss about these two qualities. So isti'la is for the letter qaf, which is the elevating quality, and istifal is for the letter kaf, which is the lowering. In the qaf, the root of our tongue elevates towards the hard palate, towards the roof of our mouth. And in the letter kaf, the root of our tongue goes towards the lower place. So that is the only difference we have, especially in the qualities. Of course, they have different qualities and different point of articulation, but they are from the one section. We call them lahat, or velar place. Uvula, you are usually using soft palate in these two letters. Then we go to the next point of articulation, next slide, which is about letter Jim, Shin, and Ya. So these three letters we pronounce from the middle part of our tongue, but as you see here, middle part of the tongue touches the opposite hard palate. So in this three letters, letter Jim, Shin, and Ya, we use the middle part of our tongue, and we touch the middle part to the hard palate, which is in front of them. The connection between letter Jim, Shin, and Ya, the touching is not the same. The Jim is too much because we say Aj, we have the connection, we have the touching, but for letter Shin and Ya, we don't have that touching. So we say Aj, we say Ash, and we say Ay, Aj, Ash, Ay. So these are the three letters. Of course, we have a terminology in Tajweed. For these three letters, we call them Shajari letters. Because they are using from Shajar, which is the space between two jaws, the space between the upper jaw and the lower jaw, we call in Tajweed Shajar. So these three letters are Shajari letters. And the previous letters, letter Qaf and Kaf, they were Lahawi letters. So three letters from the same point of articulation, but they have different qualities. Inshallah, later on, we will explain about the qualities they have. That is about letters Jim, Shin, and Ya. Then we go to the next slide, which is really important, and I highly recommend you to focus on this. It's also good for your teeth, molars, and when you go to dentists, maybe they will ask you these questions about molars and, for example, premolars and canine incisors, so you should know. But of course, a good reciter should know these terminologies. So the names of our teeth, or the molars, so the first part, which is the in front teeth, we use the central incisors. So these are central incisors. Actually, we have four, two in the upper jaw and two in the lower jaw. And then we have the lateral incisors. Lateral incisors, we have actually four, two in the upper jaw and two in the lower jaw. And then we have canine, we have four, two in the upper jaw and two in the lower jaw. And then we have first premolar, we have actually four again. And then second premolar, we have four, two in the upper jaw and two in the lower jaw. And then we have first molar, as you see there, and then second molar, and then third molar. And of course we have also wisdom, which is of course after the third molars. So these are the names of the teeth we should know when, for example, we say for the letter Dad, we use the molars. For example, we say for the letter Fa, we use the upper incisors. So you should know the name of teeth what is incisor, where are incisors, and where are canines, where are molars, premolars, and all these things we should know to understand the point of articulation of letters. So knowing these terminologies and the name of tongues are really important. We go to the next slide, and I think the next slide could be the last slide of tonight of this lesson. And of course we will continue with this lesson inshallah next week, because this lesson is really important. So the side of our tongue. The side of our tongue, especially letter Dad, we use the side of our tongue. The side of the tongue touches the upper left molar or left teeth. Usually we use both sides, right and left, but the left side is better. So letter Dad, the letter Dad is produced by touching the left side of the tongue with the left upper molar or teeth. A letter Dad is one of the most difficult letter to pronounce, and because of that they call the Arabic language as the language of Dad, because if you pronounce this letter in English, you don't have in English, nor in Spanish, nor in French, not any languages. And that is the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in some places in this holy book mentioned, we reveal this book in Arabic language, and that is a good point for those they think. So that is a point why this Quran is revealed in this language, and of course different letters with different qualities. Okay, dear viewers, thank you very much. This part was about the point of articulation of letters. So we reached until letter Dad. Inshallah we'll continue with this next week. We are due for a break, and inshallah after short break our guest reciter, Brother Sayyid Muhammad Abbas Hashimi, will come, and inshallah will recite for you. Thank you very much. Stay with us. We'll see you shortly.